Hey everyone, Carlo Macapinlac here from newbiefitnessacademy.com. I help busy professionals reach their fat loss goals so they can feel more confident, be ready for any situation, and get the most out of their lives. And in this video, I'm going to answer a pretty common misconception about intermittent fasting. Does it slow down your metabolism? If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button to get notified every time I post a new video every week. Alright, let's dive in. Okay, so one of the best things that we can do for the body metabolism is to keep it high, right? Especially if you're trying to lose weight. The faster your metabolism is, the more efficient you'll be at burning calories. That's one of the reasons why people always say that you should never skip a meal, because they say that your metabolism is going to slow down, without really any real evidence to back it up. It sounds pretty reasonable, but it's completely untrue. And I used to believe this myth, which now looking back is just absolutely ridiculous. I used to think that if I don't eat, something bad will happen to me. So I followed the common 6 small meals a day advice while restricting my calories and, well, I gained weight. A lot of weight. If you want to know more about the 6 meals a day myth, I have a separate video that talks about it, and I'm going to put the link for it in the description box. By the way, it's not all doom and gloom because I was able to eventually figure it out and get it right. And I was able to transform my body. If you want to know exactly how I did it, make sure you stay until the end of the video. Now, the word starvation is this mysterious boogeyman that always gets mentioned by the anti-fasting crowd to scare us away from not even missing a single meal, right? So let's talk about it from an evolutionary standpoint. Let's say you're in the middle of nowhere and you can't find food. And this was normal during the Paleolithic times when feast and famine was a thing. Our ancestors had to hunt for food and they would go through times when food just wasn't available. If your brain and your metabolism started to slow down if you don't eat, well, it would be that much harder to hunt because you're weak and not as mentally sharp, and you'd probably be eaten by a larger animal, and we wouldn't have survived as a species. But we all know that's not what happened. Now, first and foremost, you have to understand a little bit of what causes the metabolism to slow down. And really, the key player here is the hormone insulin. Insulin is kind of the main switch that gets triggered when you switch from a fed state to a fasted state. Insulin goes up when you eat, and it goes down when you don't eat. It's a fat storage hormone. When it's high, we're in fat storage mode, and when it's low, we switch to fat burning mode. Now you have to understand that your body can only do one or the other. It can't store fat and burn it at the same time. Now, if you're somebody who follows a high carb diet and you eat a lot of sugar and refined carbs, and you carry a lot of excess body fat, you develop something called insulin resistance. Because you have this resistance, your insulin levels are elevated and your body doesn't get the signal to burn fat for energy. Long story short, elevated insulin levels block fat burning. That's not a good thing. So if you can't access your own body fat for energy, then the only energy you can burn is the fuel that's coming in through your food. And that's when things start to go sideways. Now, let's talk about how that affects your basal metabolic rate. If you don't know what that is, it's the amount of energy needed just to keep you alive. So if you sat on the couch and watched Netflix all day, the amount of calories that you burn during that time is your BMR. Let's say your body needs to burn 2,000 calories every day to keep your body functioning. Well, there's 2 different places where you can get those 2,000 calories. You can get it from the food that you eat, or you can get it from your fat stores. So the assumption is, if you want to lose weight, and this is what the general public has been taught, and everyone refers to this as the calories in versus calories out model, is that if you eat 1,500 calories, you'll make up the difference of 500 from your fat stores, and your 2,000 calorie BMR will stay stable, and therefore, you're going to lose a pound a week, and if you do that for a year, you'd lose 52 pounds, and we'd all live happily ever after. If that was true, of course, we'd all be walking around with abs because almost everybody I know has done some form of calorie-restricted diet and it's almost never worked for anybody. In fact, according to a study, going on a calorie-restricted diet actually has a whopping 97% failure rate. Ouch. Now, if only 1,500 calories are coming in, you can only burn 1,500 calories. Contrary to popular belief, you simply don't make up the 500 calorie difference from your fat stores. Remember, if your insulin levels are elevated, you can't access your own body fat as a source of energy. You just can't. So your body is forced to ramp down its metabolic rate instead to compensate for this lack of calories coming in. And this is the problem with the so-called yo-yo dieting that people often go through. You experience some initial success and you see some of that excess weight come off, but this only lasts for so long. And here's why. As you start off, for example, with a basal metabolic rate of 2,000 calories, your body eventually turns that down to 1,500 calories over time because that's all that's coming in. Then you say, F it, and you eat 1,700 calories because you're hungry all the time. Now here's the crazy part. Even though you're eating less than you did before, remember, you're only eating 1,700 calories now, but because your metabolism has slowed down to 1,500 calories, you're gonna start gaining back some of that weight that you've lost. And this should sound familiar to all the dieters out there, right? When you go on a diet, you get that initial weight loss, then you hit the dreaded plateau, then the weight starts creeping back up, even though you're following your diet religiously, and you can't seem to figure out why. And people from the outside just assume that you have no willpower, and you end up blaming yourself. Hey, leave me a comment below if you've ever experienced this. So then you kind of do it again, but this time you lower your calories even more. You eat 1,200 calories, but you're eating constantly, you're eating smaller meals, and you're eating low-calorie processed foods, which usually means low fat with lots of sugar. Well, all of a sudden, your metabolic rate now has to go down to 1,200 calories. So now your body has to slow down basic human functions even more. So you start to feel cold. You feel tired because you have no energy. You're hungry all the time, and you're not losing weight. And this is what happens to most people. Over many years of yo-yo dieting, people who are on a calorie-restricted diet, oftentimes their basal metabolic rate turns into garbage. Your BMR actually changes depending on the amount of calories coming in. This explains why people hit a wall with their diets even though they're following it to a T. It's not your fault. Now, the good news is that the metabolic rate can go up as well. For example, there's a study out there where they put people on a 4-day fast, and they measure their basal metabolic rate in day 1 versus day 3. What you find is that the amount of calories that they're burning on day 3 is actually 14% higher than it was at the beginning, which seems counterintuitive. You might think, why would your BMR be higher when you're fasting? And the short answer is that the body has simply switched fuel sources. It switched from burning calories from the foods that you eat to burning body fat, which is the stored food that you have. Remember, body fat isn't just there for looks. It's stored energy. Think of it as granola bars strapped to your body. All you have to do is give your body a chance to access it. But again, the key determinant of that is insulin, because you have to open up those stores of body fat for you to burn. And that only happens when your insulin levels are low. And the easiest and fastest way to drop your insulin level is, surprise, surprise, fasting. Long story short, intermittent fasting does not slow down your metabolism. In fact, it can actually increase it. Okay, the next question then becomes, how are you actually supposed to eat when you're not fasting? Do you have a proven plan that you can follow? To help you with that, I want to give you a free copy of my Lean Body Blueprint. This is how I melted all the fat around my stomach and turned it into a six-pack without going on a crazy diet or wasting hours at the gym. It's a simple 4-step process specifically designed for busy professionals, and it's the exact same blueprint that I teach all my private coaching clients, and they've all gone to see some amazing results. If you want to be the next success story, then download your free copy of the Lean Body Blueprint right now. There's going to be a link in the description box. Just click on it, type in your email, and I'll send it to you right away. All right, that's all I've got. Keep being awesome. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and share it with your friends. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I post a new video every week. And hey, leave me a comment below if you found this video helpful, or if you have any questions about how intermittent fasting affects your metabolism. All right, I'll see you in the comment section. Virtual high five. It's a simple 4-step process. It switched from burning calories from the foods that you eat to burning body fat, which is the stored food. It switched from burning calories from the foods that you eat. Oh my God.